So today I have with me Fiona. How's it going, Fee?
It's going great. How's it going with you?
Mondays, you can't live with them, can definitely live without them.
Very true.
Yeah. I also have Christian with me.
Hey
Christian,
everyone.
how's it going, buddy?
I hate Mondays. All my homies hate Mondays.
Garfield. Yeah. And we also we also have Ryan. Ryan, how's it going, buddy?
It's Mondays. You know how it is.
Oh, God, it's the worst. It's the worst. It's literally the worst day of the week. We should just stick to
The
6.
worst day of the year.
I'm not a fan of Wednesdays.
But then it'll be Tuesday.
Tuesdays also suck because they're not close to Fridays.
Okay.
I don't like
And
any
then
days
when
that
You
end
just
in
don't
Y.
like half of the week.
What? Yeah, I here's the thing. I went up to my boss this week and I had told them, listen, here's a thought. I'm just putting it out there. You don't have to accept it. You could just listen to it and just go along with it with your day. What if you give everybody at the job 40 hours to work, no matter, as long as you work the 40 hours, that's fine. So my thought process was I'll just do it in 2 days and not show up to
That's-
work for the rest of the week.
That violates so many labor laws, Ruben.
Yeah,
Don't do
but
that.
like, all I'm saying is the labor laws don't tell me what to do. Okay, I'm not.
Technically, they do.
They do.
No, but listen, I'm not saying everybody has to. That has to apply for everybody. I'm just saying it applies to me only. You know what I'm saying?
As someone who used to work crazy amount of extra hours to a point where I worked I think it was 150 hours in 1 week.
Oh my God.
Don't do it.
Okay. Well,
because
I can't.
I mentally broke.
Yeah.
I sobbed a little. My boss was like, "Hey Fiona, I saw that you took the initiative, took some extra hours. How are you doing?" And I sat there and cried for 30 minutes, and
my
he
God.
was just like, "You are. That's valid." And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's good.
Don't do it.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing it. I was just messing around, but also half serious, but also not half serious. We're going to start today off. Last week was a little hectic because we were doing 2 episodes, and I know for a fact I screwed everybody up with yesterday. I had promised this was going to be a Sunday podcast only. And in my defense, I left my house at 3:00 and I got home at 9. So
Did you get all your shopping done though?
I'm missing one person, and it's
Okay,
going
it's
to be
not
a
bad.
bitch and a half to find out what that person needs. But anyway, let's start off with a recap with this episode. Now, Christian and Fee, I know you guys are wrestling with the title for recapper. Who would like to
No,
go?
I can see that title. I think it's all Fee.
Okay.
It is a fantastic job.
Okay, good.
Hello. All right. So we open the scene with a young Reiner laying in bed, being told by his mother that he is part Marleyan, which we were not. Honestly, kind of goes with the whole balancing act between I'm with parody, I'm with my group, I'm with the Marleyans, etc. We kind of already see that kind of turmoil starting off right there, and his mother is saying how much she wished that they had been born into the Marleyan family, or at least a Marleyan family, because they are now casted as outsiders. And he then proceeds to move up in the military because he knows the only way for him to be able to get the badge, to be able to be treated as a human being at least a little bit rather than a devil, is for him to move up in the military ranks and hopefully get one of the coveted titles of one of the 9 titans. Because as you notice, yes, what's up?
No, we'll finish that thought and then I'll respond.
Okay. There are different arm badges that you might notice throughout the show for just the Eldian people that are there. Eldian people, my apologies. They have almost like a gray band. That means that you are just as a devil. That's essentially the basic of it. You are treated as such. Then moving up from there, because I wrote all this down because I decided to do that. The next one up is white, meaning that you're a part of the military, but that does not mean that you have a specific rank. You're just considered a my goodness, essentially basic, you are either like a private or just like lowly tier. Next one up is yellow, meaning that you're a candidate for the red, for one of the 9 titans, but you're not actually one of the titans yet. And then we go up with red, which means not only yourself, but your family also gets these red armbands and are treated as warriors and as heroes. And so the goal for the people there is to get a red armband, because if you do not get that red armband, you and your family are treated terribly. So
Yeah,
that's another reason. Oh, continue.
yeah, this I thought was really great to start the episode off with, especially with like the dichotomy between Reiner as like a young lad and his mom, who I think really internalizes like Reiner's own like taintedness for being of like Eldian and Marleyan, right? Like he's mixed
Yeah.
blood. So like that continuation from last week's episode to start off this episode, I think tonally worked pretty well for me.
Yeah, and you kind of see her responses when he was sitting at the table about like how like great their family is, and the fact that his her niece is going to be is a candidate currently and is in the ranks to become the armored titan, that she's just like, oh, we are one step forward, we're one step closer. Even though she already has a red armband, she wants to solidify her family as Marleyan and not as Eldian. She does not consider herself a devil, and she wants to separate herself from that. So it's really kind of interesting to see that, and then you kind of see that progression throughout the episode, where you see Reiner constantly fighting with himself, knowing that he needs to get this particular spot. And right off the hatch, you see Marcel get my goodness, not that was not Marcel, it was his Marcel's younger brother, Polko, was very upset about the fact. He's just like, you do not deserve this ranking. There is only a number of us. You are not going to become one of the 9 titans. And gets into this full-on argument. Reiner is essentially picking at him as well, saying, I'm going to be one. But they're constantly in an argument to a point where they have to get separated. Berthold comes and protects Reiner. Marcel pulls Polko off of Reiner and says, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry this is happening to you. Like, you shouldn't be treated that way. And you kind of see the sadness in his eyes, and he gets pulled away. And then you see this kind of conversation between Berthold and Reiner, because the others have left. You see a young Zeke. You see, oh my goodness, you essentially see all the current Titans that are in Marley, all his young children, even Zeke, who I was confused for a second. I'm like, who is this guy in the corner? And then I'm realizing, like, oh, it's Zeke
It
just
was the
hanging out
glasses, right?
for the glasses. So I'm like, what is happening here? So then we kind of see that transition. They all move away. There's a heart to heart between Reiner and Berthold, and Reiner talking about the fact he really needs to become one of the 9 titans. And then they tried to get Annie to join, and Annie's like, I wasn't listening to any of you. And then they kind of walk away. Because that's essentially Annie's entire mood, is just not really paying attention. My goodness. And at that particular point, when they had that argument, they did talk about the fact that they only have 13 years to be a hero. And Berthold is reminding him that you only have 13 years to succeed, for you and your family to feel like you've like accomplished something. And Reiner is explaining, yes, I know. And this cuts to our gang over in Parody with Aaron staring at the wall, and then my goodness, I can Armin running out with the book. He had the book, which was the book that he had about Marley and the ocean, and kind of cutting back to season 1, episode 1, which is kind of cool to see. And we see this throughout the entire episode of kind of that comparison between the two, saying like, while they had a carefree life at this point, the Marleyan children were already so my goodness, the Eldians in Marley were already having to fight to become like respected and to find that peace, because if they don't do that at a young age, they're not going to find that, and their family relies on it as well. And so we then cut to the screenshots and explanations for each Titan, starting off with Annie being versatile and also having the ability to call on Titans, which we saw that a little bit in season 1 when they were in the forest and she had a group of Titans with her.
Yep.
And also talking about her hardening ability. The next one was the Armor Titan, which kind of early in the episode we thought that Polko should have gotten it, but it's actually Reiner who gets the coveted title of Armor Titan. The Jaws Titan goes to Marcel, which is Polko's older brother. The Beast Titan goes to Zeke. Shocking. And they make a hint about the fact that he has a stronger ability than the last Beast Titan and that he has the ability to throw at long distances, but they don't think that's associated with the beast. It's the fact that his, they assume it might be his blood or something that causes him to be stronger than the other Titans. And
So
honestly, kind of, yes,
sorry,
continue.
I had one question about that, and I wasn't really sure what they were talking about. Was it Zeke's blood, or was it the Beast Titan's blood that was special?
Zeke's blood.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, that makes more sense, because then that also talks about what he was trying to like do with the other Titans. Also, sorry to interrupt again. We got our first donation today from Seinfeld Sucks.
Oh,
And
come on.
it's
What?
a little upsetting because their message is Happy Festivus. It's a Festivus for the rest of us, okay? Thank you for the donation, but also, what the fuck, okay? This is a Seinfeld podcast. Don't disrespect it.
This right
We
now,
should just stop talking about.
is a
Uh-huh.
Seinfeld.
You know what I mean? Like, this is Seinfeld friendly. Yes, Eric. I wasn't gonna say your name, but yes, this was Eric's donation, and quite frankly,
Wow.
thank you. But also, you know,
I have another question
go right
for the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so one, love the exposition that we got of all the Titans. I thought it was,
Mhm.
I mean, it makes sense that we're getting it now because we're getting all this other info dump, right, from
Mhm.
the Eldin tour and Marley. So it makes sense that we're getting it now. But
Yeah.
isn't it like a little weird that like we're getting this in season 4, the final season?
I think it is, but I also think that the entire episode was them kind of trying to be more like it shows how technical the Marleyan people are, and they're kind of saying like, here are the backgrounds of these particular Titans, and this is what the Marleyans have about them,
Mhm.
because the people in Parody don't. They don't have like a full synopsis and explanation of each particular Titan, and I
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah, I just want to add something to that.
Yeah.
To where in Paradise the Titans are looked at as almost like mystical creatures, to a point of like even think of like all the openings and stuff always painted as these giant monsters, but to the Marleyans they are just used as weapons, as you can see with things such as like Core Titan always being fitted out with weapons, and talking about Armored Titan as a shield, and why they picked Reinhardt because of his loyalty to the country, that he'd be perfect for that role. So I think that's why we're finally getting this kind of information, because just when they were over in Paradise, there'd be no time to actually give that information, because they barely understand how Titans work. Until about 5 years ago now, they didn't know people could become Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly think that it's better that we got this in season 4 than had we gotten it earlier. It would have, like, it's all been building up to the mystery of what's in Aaron's basement, and I think
Oh, you're right.
had we gotten some answers
Mhm.
from everybody else, it would have they spoiled like, I don't know what's like. They
I think it
spoiled
would have
it.
felt a
You
little
know?
disjointed.
Yeah.
Because
No, you're right.
no, and I honestly I didn't really like. My goodness, Ryan had a great explanation for it, because for like now realizing it would have been really disjointed. Like I honestly didn't really understand it the first place as well, but like my goodness, Ruben said it was magical and like mystery, and then
Yeah.
going back to season 1 where none of us knew any of this.
Nope.
Like we just assumed that Titans, like the rest of humanity, was gone, that we were like the people in Paradise, or Parody as some people say it, we're the only people left, and now we know all this information. And I think the way that they structured it, in this episode, it's just like what Ryan said is like, this is the military explanation for each one of these people. This is why you got this, and this is your ranking, and this is an explanation of your ranking and your talents and your traits. So in their like, it's almost reading off like their military files, saying like, Annie Lionheart, she's the female Titan. She has the ability, she has versatility. She's not as big as the other Titans, but has the ability to call on different Titans and has a strengthening effect. And then the Jaws Titan with Marcel, they talk about, even though he's smaller, he's the fastest out of the group that they have. And he's able to crush anything with his jaws. So it's kind of reading it off as if they're like looking at a file and they're like, here are the 9 Titans currently.
Yeah.
And
I like
then,
that.
Yeah. I didn't know why they didn't do it either. Yeah. And honestly, I kind of like peek a little bit the Card Titan, just because she's just doing her own thing. And she's just like, I carry around big guns on my back, and I have a cool set of armor that they have built for me, and the ability to be able to stay in that like shape for like well over I think the longest they mentioned was 2 months.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And then they see the we ended off with the God of Destruction, the Colossal Titan, where we see Berthold in what he did in season 3 during the fight. He was hidden and then he exploded, becoming almost an atomic bomb, taking out a bunch of people and then destroying the large area that he was a part of. And then that's where we cut to where the leader of the military was talking about like their particular their next mission. And we kind of hear about it is the next one what they need to do is go over to Paradise or Parody. And you kind of see Porco very upset. He is lashing out at Reiner, saying like, why did you get this? I have better scores than you. I'm better than you.
It should have been me.
This is bullshit. It should have been me. Like, they don't know what they're talking about. And then Reiner at this point kind of has a newfound confidence. Is just like, so you're pretty much proving my point that I'm more loyal. And do you want me to go tell the Marlians that you're saying this about them? Like, are you saying that the people who rule us are making the wrong decisions? And that's when you kind of see him shut down and not say anything further. And then you kind of see. Pardon?
He was like, he used his armband as rank.
Yeah, and showed. He's like, I have this, like, you can't stop me because I have this particular thing. And then you kind of see him stop and then realize like, oh, like he outranks me now. I can't say shit. And then you kind of see Marcel looking a little bit sad and then apologizing to Reiner. And Reiner's like, why are you apologizing to me? Like, I just won this argument. Like, why are you saying sorry to me? And then it cuts to they're currently going down the street. Everyone's cheering them on. They're going to go to Parody. Everything's going great. And then you see Reiner look over and there is a man walking into a building. And you see another cutscene where Reiner goes up and says, I'm your son. Like, you know my mother. Like, my mother worked in the armory before I was born. And he essentially wants nothing to do with Reiner. He thinks that Reiner is scum and that his mother is trying to hold the fact that he made one mistake 14 years ago over his head and saying that you're despicable. You are not my son. I do not want anything to do with you. And then you kind of see this peak of where Reiner's very kind of lost because he was fighting to get to this rank because of his dad and to find out his dad wants nothing to do with him. And so you kind of see the sadness, but now he knows he's stuck in this. He still has to go over to Paradise. And we see them going off on their boat. And my goodness, let me just see here.
I just want to point out,
and they
I can see why Reiner's as fucked up in the head as he is. Because of all this shit that he's gone through already.
You can't blame him.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
No, it wasn't. So, this is the kind of peak, and then it's just all downhill from here.
Yeah.
Like, finding out that his goal is now shattered, And his goal for the whole reason for him to go over to paradise is no longer the reason why he's going. He's just going for him and his mother. He said, well, I now, like, just because my dad doesn't claim me, I have this rank, I have this armband, I'm going to go save our people. I'm going to save Marley and the Eldians. And then it goes to them sitting around a campfire, and you hear why Polko didn't actually get the rank of the armor titan. And Marcel goes into some conversation about the fact that essentially at this point, since they're not in Marley, that it seems as though the Marlians are sending children to die, and that this seems outlandish. And the reason why that Reiner got the actual position as armor titan was he talked down his brother and talked up Reiner so he could protect his brother, because he knew that this was essentially a suicide mission. And he's just like, I didn't want my brother to get hurt. I do not need, like, I wanted to know that at least someone was there. Like, he wanted to protect his brother. And so he really shit the bed on his brother's like academics and how he was doing, and then really talked up Reiner. And you kind of see this kind of betrayal at Reiner, where he's just very confused about this and kind of trying to realize, like, try to process the information. Except it cuts right to when he his sad face goes into horror when he sees a titan coming after him, and then Marcel instantly sacrificing himself. Rip. That's what I had in my notes. I literally put R.I.P.
It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder as if his brother was in Reiner's shoes, would he still be alive?
Yeah. And I also think he was probably like, he kept on apologizing, and I think this was him saying like, this is me, like,
yeah,
we are now even because I'm now sacrificing myself.
Yep.
Because he felt so bad about the fact that he put Reiner in this position, because I think before they like respected each other, but now he knows that he needs to do this. Like, he's failed the group, he's failed the mission, because I'm like, this isn't specifically said, but I think Marcel also realizes that Reiner wasn't the top choice, and he's already failed the mission to begin with.
Yeah.
And so he now needs to like put himself. That's my theory, but I think it's more in the lines of he felt guilty about the fact that he's fucked Reiner, essentially. And then you see Reiner like breathing, like heavily breathing, and then vomiting beside a tree, because he is now run. And he assumes that Annie and Berthold are dead, because instead of changing into his armored titan form and attacking, he ran. And Annie is very upset about this, essentially saying, it's your fault that Marcel's dead. It's like, we could have died. You fucked him over. He sacrificed himself, and you could have saved him. You could have stopped this Titan if you actually changed into your armored form. And then they get into an argument, and Annie essentially starts kind of going down this negative hole, essentially saying that
we have to go
it's
back.
everyone's fault. It's Marley. It's the Eldians. No one's taking responsibility for this. We are children here, and we're all getting lied to. Like, this is fucked up. And she doesn't say specifically fucked up, but she kind of implies it when she's beating the crap out of Reiner, and constantly punching him and saying that they need, like, she was trying to reason with him about going back. He's just like, no. And she's getting very upset. And then she walks away because she just assumes that Reiner is done for. Reiner, you then see him snap, and he says that Reiner is dead, while putting Annie in a chokehold and saying, Reiner is dead. If you need Marcel, I'm going to be Marcel. We are going to go to paradise. We are going to get the founding titan, and you're going to listen to me or you're going to die. And he then chokes out Annie.
Yeah, this I really liked, because I think it tells us a bit more about Reiner's like state of mind as he was growing up. That like revelation that honestly, like, loyalty to the state doesn't get you very far. It's really like your physical attributes and like your strength and your capabilities that are going to get you to become like an honorary Marlian. And like, literally, it's like a form of identity, like death, where he has to stop being Reiner and become somebody else with that split personality in order to survive. I thought it was great.
And also, like, you put this, Annie put the blame on Reiner, but like, also Annie could have kicked that Titan's ass. Like, literally anybody else could have turned into a Titan. It's not only Reiner's fault.
Okay, Berthold definitely couldn't, because they would have blown his cover, because that would have been an atomic nuke. Doesn't matter how far he is out. Like, if you're on the island, you're gonna see that atomic bomb go off in
No,
some
yeah,
way, shape, or form.
you're right.
And then they would have had
But
to-
Annie and Marcel could have
Annie.
also changed into a Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just chose not to.
The thing is, I don't know if, like, in that particular moment, like, what were they sitting at the fire when like, I don't
Yeah,
remember from
they were
season
sitting at
3.
the fire.
So yeah.
I thought Marcel and Reiner were off talking and then got ambushed by a Titan.
Yeah.
Not that they were like by anyone.
Oh, to me,
Yeah.
it looked like they were all sitting around the campfire, but I could be wrong.
I think there was like maybe like a time shift. They just like
Okay, all right, that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, then never mind.
So there is, I like, there's definitely that, like, I understand why Berthold didn't do it,
Yeah,
because that would
absolutely.
have just, like, that would have been earthquake material. Like, their cover would have been blown.
Yeah,
Things would have gone
but they-
searching for that.
mhm.
Yeah, they would have definitely, and then they would have found the large like carcass, like half molted, and then that would have just blown their cover completely.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's what happens when he goes into that form.
It's
He
just
he's like a massive corpse.
a steaming pile of steamed meat.
yeah.
It's
It's
steamed ham.
gross. Yeah.
Steamed
Oh,
hams.
you beat me to it by a second.
It is massive steamed Berthold. And yeah, so Reiner, at this point, you kind of see the split personality starting with Reiner, and kind of the introduction to it, because that's when he completely just cracked. So let's just see here. Then they cut to them going to the wall. You see the colossal Titan. You see Reiner kind of arguing with himself. You don't see Annie at all, but you do see when Berthold goes out of his Titan form, and then he sees Zeke's mother, the female Titan, Diana, come by. She looks at him with her terrifying grin. She still gives me nightmares to this day.
Yeah, it's
And
creepy.
then you can see that she doesn't care. She's just like,
Mhm.
she walks right by him, which nuts. Then you kind of see Reiner kind of realizing that they fucked up, and that the only thing that he could do right now is, like, he's not supposed to be here. He's like, why am I here? He has kind of like that disassociation issue, and then he goes right into it, and then that's when it cuts to the scene where he runs through the wall to try to further their way through it, which is very unfortunate for him. Yeah, he gets, my goodness. Yeah, and so they now show them going through the in the actual armory with everyone else. You see a cut of Armin and Aaron on the other side, and then Reiner kind of waking up, and then them saying, like, we failed. Like, we're here. Like, we are now stuck here. Like, we can't leave.
Yeah.
And then them moving up the ranks. And then, unfortunately, we cut to our second suicide in the series. Once again, there's going to be a link for the suicide hotline
In the
in the
description below.
in the description below. And you kind of see the person that committed suicide before he did it. He's telling Reiner, Berthold, and Annie about the fact that he saw a Titan outside of his window, and he ran away as far as he could on horseback, and he left 3 children behind. And this goes back to season 1, where they said that is their alibi, and that's their background, is they were left behind. They were the 3 children, and this man left without them. So nice nod to season 1, and kind of explaining where they got their background story to begin with, because obviously they couldn't be like, we're from a place called Marley. Like,
How fitting though that like they juxtapose that story of the man from the earlier season of him leaving his children behind, but it's the children who actually save Reiner from committing the act of suicide, like unknowingly.
Yeah.
yeah. And God, it kind of cuts back to later on, where Berthold is talking about the fact that he's constantly seeing this man in his nightmares, and that's what you were seeing was Berthold's dream at that time, of him seeing this old man. and kind of going in this unfortunate loop. Now we see a spy in the shadows, in the depths of the sewers. We see a like a glasses wearing blonde woman. Shock, who knows who this is? And we get to see Kenny again. That was exciting.
Yeah.
Kenny kind of had
I
a
was
conversation with
excited
this
for
girl.
Kenny.
Took me by
I miss
surprise.
Kenny. Even yeah. And this blonde, mysterious young girl says that she is Kenny's daughter, and Kenny instantly can tell this is not my daughter, and whoever this girl is trying to lie through her teeth, but is not very good at it. And then the blonde-haired girl says, "Why would you think I'm lying to you, father?" And then kicks the wall, and we find out that it was Annie all along because her disguise was terrible. She is terrible at lying, and this is why she's a fighter, not a espionage.
Amazing high kick.
And
Yeah,
oh,
Amazing
I mean,
high
That was
super
great.
amazing.
yeah. Kenny kind of makes a joke about it at the end, saying that, man, she's going through a phase.
Do we know
She's
why
going-
that she was trying to visit Kenny?
She was trying to spy because he had his own specific rank, and he was also friends with the king.
Okay,
And so she probably heard some whispers and was trying to get information about the founding titan.
gotcha.
Because at this point, they would have lost the founding titan at this point, because the founding titan would have been with Eren, but they don't know that, and so they still think that the founding titan is with the king.
Gotcha. Okay.
I didn't
who
pick up on that.
It's a lot. It's just like it's a lot. And then we cut to Annie, Barrett and Reiner talking. Annie says, "We've been here for 5 years. We have a lot of information. We've done a lot. Like, we have. It's not like we've been sitting around for 5 years. We can go home. Like, and it'll be fine. For us. Not Definitely not going to be okay." And there is another argument with Reiner, Annie, and Barrett doing his own thing, which is him sitting there being upset about the fact his friends arguing. Barrett and Annie kind of talking about the fact that they should leave, and Reiner says the next thing that we need to do is take down Wall Rose, because if we take down Wall Rose, the founding titan will appear, which technically they're not wrong
Yeah.
ish. It's technically the founding titan, but at that point we only saw the attack titan, which was Eren. And then Barrett kind of talks about the fact why it cuts to them going to Barrett in a sweat, like waking up and saying he's confused about the fact why that man told them the story in the first place. Which it's probably because he was saying what he did to get to that point.
Yeah, he wanted to like unburden himself before
he was confessing to what he was doing before he did the thing. And Eren, we cut to Eren kind of begging at Reiner's feet, saying, "I wish I was you. Why am I not strong like you?" And Mikasa, like, why, what can I do differently? And you kind of see Reiner jumping between three different thoughts, him in different times, him there listening to Eren, him being looking at himself because he realizes that Eren's very much like him, and kind of associating himself with Eren and realizing that we are essentially, like, even though we've been told constantly that we're devils, he's literally like me. Like, we're people. Like, it's not like we're anything different. We're literally people who are going through it and going through shit, and going back to when Annie said that we are all going, like, doesn't matter who we are, like, at the end of the day, we are people and we're getting lied to and we're being treated like puppets, and this is not okay. And then we also cut to a gun being loaded and Eren begging Reiner to help him, and then Reiner cutting back to himself And then you find out that the person holding the loaded shotgun is Reiner while he puts the gun into his mouth. This instantly almost goes off before we hear a young Colt outside of Reiner's window in present time, asking if if Reiner was there. Reiner said, "I'm here. I'll be there soon," and just kind of like brushes him off. But that kind of stops Reiner for a moment and cutting him back into like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Why am I holding this gun? And I think that kind of goes back to him constantly going through like his mind and his issue, like we're not anything different, and then him fighting with himself constantly, and then maybe one of his sides got him to a point where he had the gun in his hand. We don't know. He just seemed very confused when he cut to and him realizing he had a gun in his mouth.
Yeah.
Which I read, this is gonna be so stupid. Okay, so I was on TikTok. I'm cutting to me going through TikTok a few days after our last podcast, and there were obviously a bunch of spoilers for Attack on Titan because I'm on that side of TikTok.
Mm.
And someone left a very great comment, and I was like blown away by this. Was when Reiner was talking about how terrible the people of Paradise were, and all of like these descriptions of like Sasha eating the potato and Armin being being silly and telling stories and stuff like that. They posted that was why he loved them. Like he wasn't saying what he hated about them. He was just saying what he liked about the people of Paradise and the people that he grew up with. And so it's him saying like, I thought it was brave of her to have that potato, and saying like, hey, I'll share you the potato. And then thought it was funny that she gave him like the smaller half of the potato. And then him talking about like Marco and Mikasa, and the fact that Mikasa is like one of the strongest people that she's seen, and like, oh, she's like a demon, like with like a blade and stuff like that. But he respects the fact that she is such a good fighter. And I I stopped for a good solid like 10 minutes and just like sat down and was like, I've never had a comment hit me so hard than that comment, because I'm like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because he's constantly fighting with himself, that he's tried to make himself believe that the things that he loved about the people of Paradise are actually the things he loves about them and respects about them. So yeah, now you guys get to have those feels and emotional turmoil that I did, because I cried. So anywho,
that's a good reading. I like that reading because I think it also like reaffirms what you said earlier about like Reiner like likening himself to Eren. I think it just strengthens that point even more. Yeah.
I have something to say along to the him relaying himself to Eren, which I think they did visually very, very well, was right after they took down the first wall with the Colossal Titan, of them as kids now in the shelter area with, just arms reaches away is Eren, Mikasa, and Armin. Now life destroyed, brand new life beginning because of what the Titans have done. What they have done, basically, arms reaches away from the people who caused that. And just the similarities between each group, with Eren, Mikasa, and Armin very similar to Reiner, Berholt, and Annie in many ways. I think they did a lot of this episode of showing the similarities between the three of them as children and growing into adulthood.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even realize that. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, they were like a block away.
I didn't either. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when they were in the like armory, like laying like it was essentially like an emergency like area where they had a bunch of beds side by side with each other. They were literally on the other side.
Yeah.
And they were looking over at them.
Fee, to what you pointed out, now that line where the his cousin, I guess, comes up to him and tells him like, your mom is suspicious about, like, there's something you're not telling us, but I want to believe you, but like your mom is real suspicious about, like, you're hiding something from us. What is it? That makes so much more sense now that I think about it, and it just, oh man, that blew my mind.
Also, like, I kind of thought about it, and if I had to talk about something I didn't like about, like, if I had to talk about someone I didn't like at all, which honestly, like, I don't have any people whatsoever like that, I wouldn't talk about, like, and I know I keep on going back to it, but it seems so silly that he would talk about a potato.
Mhm.
Like, she did so many other things through that entire 5 years that they knew each other. Why the fuck is he talking about a potato? I'm
Because
sorry
she
I keep on
almost
swearing.
no, hey, that's fine. Don't worry about it. This is a swearing podcast.
Well, I typically don't
It's a
swear.
Seinfeld
Okay.
and a swearing
It's a
podcast.
Seinfeld swearing podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
Fantastic.
the way that that one specific point that he mentions, for me, I had thought like, oh, that was the point where like he was like not on the verge of death, but like they were starving, and she just
Yeah.
decided to give him the smaller piece of the potato. That's why I thought of it. But now I'm thinking like, oh, he's like remembering the fond moments that they had with each other.
Yeah, because honestly, if he had to go through any other time where Sasha had food in her hands, should have been the time that she was packing meat in her jacket and hiding it from everybody while they were on the wall, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And she's just like, "I need the food," and they're like, "Stop it!" While she has like in her mouth like an angry like cat with like what is it like food aggression, just like. So
God.
no, it's not gonna be like I honestly like that kind of like blew my mind, and
Yeah.
so I got to share with every one of you. So enjoy.
That's a
Thank
good
you.
comment.
You're welcome, because I thought this was a good time to bring it up because once again, it definitely made me cry a little bit. Um, so I got a little bit confused because I didn't realize it went from Colt and then it switched to Falco like for a second, like at the second half of that particular point. So you see Colt running away, and then you see his little younger brother going to this man with an eye
What?
patch.
That was Falco?
Yeah.
I
So
thought that was Colt.
Falco,
Oh no.
it was no worries. It was Colt talking to Reiner, and then it's
Mhm.
swap. And the only way I knew
Yeah.
how was because Colt has blonde hair and Falco has like like almost the beige hair on the top, and then it has like a little bit darker on the sides. That's the only way I can tell the difference between the two. The only difference, because I had to go back and watch that scene 3 times, and I'm like, okay, who is this? Because I'm confused. And then I like noticed the subtitles and it was like Falco, and I'm like, when did they switch? Who? Because I'm like, how did you run from one area to the? I digress. So I mean,
I think it's also like the
understand-
mannerisms too. Falco, like every time he talks, just seems less sure of himself.
Yeah. I also only knew that because they started talking about the fact that he wasn't going to get the armor titan,
Mhm.
which person who was who was originally in the running and the person who was like going to get it, but then it's and the person who talked to Reiner about it in episode 2 was Falco.
Yeah.
As Reiner was like, you cannot let Gabby get this. And kind of going back to Reiner realizing that I don't want my family members to get this fucking Titan. Like, she cannot get this, and you need to step it up. That it's Falco talking to this bandaged man, who we find out doesn't have a leg, and is kind of talking, and he's just like, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, I thought I was a shoe-in, but now I'm getting like taken out by like a younger like person, and she's like really strong, like, oh no, they said like they're very strong and everything, and then the character says, is it the girl? And he's just like, yeah, it's her, and she's like really doing really well. And then you kind of see the the eye patched person with the long hair. Kind of cuts to a specific monologue. Which, did I write it out? Yes, I did. I wrote out the entire freaking monologue because, yeah.
Before
We
you
kinda
start
see
on the
cuts to-
monologue, my only issue with Aaron, I think, well, I guess one of my issues with Aaron is that like his monologues have become like almost satire to me. That like like every time he starts monologuing, it feels like I'm watching like Grey's Anatomy voiceovers, if that makes sense. And I
So
I
this
almost
is
start
also
to
a
tune
Grey's
out.
Anatomy podcast, so like, just careful what you say. I'm kidding. Go
Oh
ahead.
no.
No, I just like I almost want to tune out. Like it's almost a joke to me, but it isn't. I'll end up having to rewind and listen to it again.
So here's the thing. I didn't know that was Aaron. I just thought it was a regular Joe Schmo that came back from the war. I didn't. I
I could tell.
No way.
The second that man opened his mouth, I'm like, I know that voice actor. I know who that is.
Yeah, I was the
My
same.
God.
Okay.
I'm like,
Well,
oh,
It's like-
it's Aaron.
I'm gonna have
He's
to
here.
rewatch this episode because I
Yeah.
didn't catch that at all.
I'm seeing
Also,
I'm
I'm
seeing
really
pictures. What was that?
No, continue. No, continue. Mine's not about this. Continue.
No, I'm seeing pictures of Aaron like before the episode even airs. So I saw it on Twitter. That's how I knew.
Okay.
Where are these pictures
Yeah.
coming from? How did these people get their hands on this?
It's a good question.
You know?
I don't know.
Anyway,
Maybe from the
trailers.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of is trailer. Because the other thing is like it would obviously look like the manga if it was from the manga. Like it wouldn't be like,
Yeah.
whoa, I
Yeah.
don't know where they got this from. It's just like no, I know it. They look very nice. I think I've seen them too, and I got very confused. So now I'm gonna have to go watch those again, which is all the trailers and then all the things. So we're gonna get my Grey's Anatomy voice.
Please and thank you.
Yes.
Every day I'm here, I think, why did it ever come to this? Damaged minds and bodies, their freedom taken away, even losing themselves. Cut to a person in a wheelchair and a bandaged head and a nurse pushing him. If people knew it would come to this, no one would go to war. As the nurse adjusts the guy in the wheelchair's, my goodness, their eye patch. But most people are pushed by something, forced to march into hell. That something wasn't their choice, their situation, or others made them do it. But people who push their own backs see a different kind of hell. They see something beyond hell. It might be hope. It might even be another hell. Only those who keep moving forward will ever know. And then
Okay,
it
but-
cuts to the blue-eyed wonder Aaron, and then at the end of the scene.
It was such a weird line. It might be heaven, or it might just be another hell. And I was like,
No,
what?
that took me out of it too.
It's like another hope. Yeah, honestly, this reminds me, honestly, he cannot be happy. Like, he's one of those people that you're just like, man, everything's going great. They go to the beach. They finally see the water. Armin's just like, I've been dreaming about this. And he's just like, but is this freedom? And it's just like, shut up.
Chill, man.
Let the blonde boy
Someone knock him
enjoy
out.
this for a minute.
Oh,
like-
man.
This isn't about you, Aaron. He's been wanting to see the ocean for like since he was a child. Shut up. It's just like, but he's
Let
just
him
like,
have his beach day.
Like,
Aaron the
beyond the
vibe killer Jaeger.
why is this, dude? Like honestly, I at season 1, I was just like, you know what? Aaron's gone through stuff that like I understand why he's upset. Season 4, my dude, your friends have gone through shit and they're not the same place as you are. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but like, you need to realize there is some sort of hope and nothing. That
But is there some sort of hope? I don't think there is for his side. I think it's gonna end really badly for his side. Him especially. I think it's gonna end badly for.
I'm not saying anything about
Okay,
that,
good,
but
good.
When is the manga being finished? Is there a date?
I could find out.
I'm thinking early next year.
Based
Yeah.
on where the story is at, from my guess, I'm going to guess by April next year. That's my
Yeah,
guess.
that's
Oh, okay.
because we can't say
Probably, like,
anything.
10 more chapters is my guess. 10, 15 more chapters.
So, do we think the
As-
manga's gonna end before the anime?
I assume so. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it has
November 10th.
I could see that.
November 10th, I see here manga in the final 1% to 2% of ending. That's really specific.
We
Yeah,
have
I-
it down to the percentile, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say April at the latest. I'm gonna probably say like March, with the way that it's going at the moment.
And we currently have
Because
what?
Last few chapters have been like the last few like releases have been insanely long. Like it's
Oh yeah, they're thick chapters.
So the season is gonna have to take a break, right? At some point, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's gonna
Yeah.
get halfway point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 episodes and then break. Yeah.
Like I said
maybe
before,
like 2
I-
weeks.
yeah, I have a feeling that we're gonna get the first half of this season is going to be the Marleyan and Eldian side, and the
Mhm.
last half of the season it's what Aaron and his friends have been up to.
You see, I
I
would
like that.
almost agree with that if we didn't just see Aaron at the end of this episode.
True.
Just like
True.
Ryan.
Well, okay, so yeah, but you could just show him. You don't know what he's got to be up to. You know, you don't know how he ended up there,
Hobbling
I
around,
figure
man.
we're going to- that-
hobbling around.
That he knows about the other Titans, the girl. He knows who's getting the powers. He's working on something there. He's there for a reason. He's there to.
Now,
He's there for some purpose.
I had a question about that. Fee, you said he said it's the girl. I read the subtitle a lot. I watched the episode. Sorry, I watched the episode about 2 times, and I read that subtitle specifically because that was like really weird. He said a girl. I didn't see.
girl.
Yeah, so I assumed that he was
Okay,
just
my
like, no, that's okay. I don't think that he knows who is. Well, he probably does. Yeah.
The only reason why I say that he probably knows is because he was in the courtyard with everybody else. Also, he was in the train when everyone's just like, "Yeah, Gabby, whoa, Gabby!" Like,
Oh, you see, I didn't know that. I didn't notice that either.
Aaron was there in the train.
he was it. Okay, so he was one of the guys standing in the line, like the ones that were beaten and bruised. He was like the 3rd person in line with the crutches because he fell over when they went like boom, and like
Okay.
everyone fell over. He was the 3rd person in line.
All right. So
Aaron Yeager.
I'm just gonna go straight out and say it. If you're saying that and that's true, I have a feeling that I know for a fact what is going to happen for this season. I know for a fact that if that's true, that he was in the train, and Reiner was also in the train, was he not? No, he wasn't.
He was because he was yelling at
In
Falcon.
the
Yeah.
front.
Yeah, so yeah, they're in cahoots. They know what's going on. They're fucking over the Eldians. Not the Eldians, the Marlians.
Marlians.
Yeah. That's my theory.
I would like that. I would love that.
Yeah, I think they're in cahoots. Then I think they know what they're doing. But the reason why Reiner had that slip of thought why he tried to kill himself was because he couldn't take it. The reason why he had the gun in his mouth was the other side of Reiner, where he thinks he's loyal to the Eldians and the Marlians. And then when he's snapped back into reality, he realized, like, no, these are my friends. I'm going to continue with the mission, and the mission is to get rid of the Marlians, free the Eldians.
I like that, Ruben. But if I've learned anything from Attack on Titan is that things are never that simple.
Yeah,
No, it has
So who knows?
levels of complexity.
yeah. Well, again, this is coming from a guy who didn't pick up that Aaron was in the last 2 episodes. So, anyway,
I'm getting a
continue.
screenshot as we speak, as a heads up,
A screenshot of what?
of him
Okay.
standing in the line. Yeah.
Okay.
1 second.
I remember him in episode 1, but yeah, not in episode 2. That's wild.
It's very wild.
I want to
Because
know
I,
what
like,
happened
I
with that
looked-
leg.
Yeah, also, why hasn't the leg come back?
Do you guys remember Attack on Titan Junior High? As I like bring this up because
No.
I didn't watch.
No.
I
loved
didn't
Attack on
watch
Titan
that.
Junior High. It was a fun.
I
show.
didn't see it, to be honest.
No, it was
It was
like
fun.
the what's the art style? Chibi?
Chibi?
Yeah, I was
It's like Naruto's little junior high thing.
yeah, I wasn't there for it.
Chibi show. Yeah.
Yeah, they typically do
so
this.
there was a Foursquare manga that got animated into an anime. It was fun. It was funny. It's a little comedy anime.
Okay.
I don't even know what to expect anymore at this point. If I'm
Yeah.
being honest.
I don't either.
I found him.
You want to post it in the what is it? The general text chat.
No worries. 1 second here. This is
Yeah, take your
him
time.
standing at the wall. The general chat.
Yep. Please and thank
Okay.
you.
Yep, no worries. So this is him.
Wasn't. Let's see.
Holy
He's right
shit!
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, fuck, there he is.
Fuck. Hiding in plain sight.
Twitter's a
Went
bunch
to
of
war.
detectives.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that the second I saw him. I'm like, that's 1000% our dude. Like, because he had long hair. And
I mean, that's not
like,
your dude. That's my dude.
Well, I mean,
You're not a real big
technically,
fan of
okay, here's the
my
deal.
dude. Okay.
Here's the deal. I'm Paradise. I'm definitely a fan of Paradise and the people there. Doesn't mean I don't need to like Aaron.
You're
I'm
only
just
one.
supporting
You're
the
only a
people
fan of one
there.
person though, and it's Sasha. As long as Sasha lives, you don't care about what
I'm
happens.
fans of multiple people, not just Sasha. I'm just saying Sasha's my spirit animal.
Okay.
She's like, we vibe. Like, I understand. Food's important, girl.
Okay.
Like,
All right.
You know what? If
Yeah.
I could tell Aaron anything, it would be that when Levi told you to keep your emotions in check, he didn't mean like lose all your emotions altogether.
Well,
You
that's how
know?
you keep them in check.
and
You
then
just
have it.
turn them off.
That's the unhealthy way to do it. You're right.
I mean, yeah, but that's the way, right? This man goes off because of a bunch of stuff. I just feel like the best way to keep yourself in check is to just turn them off.
Don't have any.
Yeah,
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
exactly. So,
Ryan,
Eric had asked a question before he left, and he said, "Why do you think Attack on Titan is so beloved?" And I think it's so beloved. People like mysteries. So if you mention, hey, there's something in the first well, I'm pretty sure it was like the first couple episodes where his dad mentioned, don't go into the basement. There's, I'll show you what it is when I come back. Once you say that and you go 60, what is it? It was like
63 episodes.
63 episodes and not show what's in the basement. People are going to just wonder what the fuck is in that basement and they'll stay along for the ride. That's just me. I'm wondering what the fuck is in that basement.
did they not
For
already
me,
go
I
in the
think-
No,
basement?
they did.
Yeah, they wanted the
It's gone in
basement.
the basement. The basement explained why Eldian and how the Titan juice, and
Yeah.
all that stuff, the big wall,
Yeah.
all that. But for me, the reason I think it became so popular and all that, and so beloved, is it doesn't follow a lot of the tropes of normal anime. Just one in beginning and art style of how just unique it is. I remember back, God, when did the show start? 2014, 2015,
I think it was
somewhere
2014.
around then.
2013.
I think it's
It has like
2013. Yeah.
thick black outlines and all that, which were very unique. You never saw that anime cell shading, basically. So it didn't have that typical anime look that usually throws a lot of people off. And then it has a very different story compared to many shonen anime and even seinen anime of the same nature
Yeah.
Yeah.
to it, which is, if you can hook somebody in, like if you can find a horror fan or something like that, they'll find something to like in this show. Action fans, drama fans.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of everything in it.
Those
Is it all
creepy Titan
perfectly done?
faces.
No, but it has that. So you can show somebody that, and they will be able to gravitate to at least something in the show. And that's why I think it's so beloved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also you like can't help but stare at those creepy Titan faces. It's really bad.
I hate looking at them.
I hate it too. And then that scene where he where I think it's Aaron realizes his mom is a Titan. It just it creeps me the fuck out. I hate it so much. But like I also love it.
Oh, you mean Zeke's mom is the Titan?
Yeah, that's what it was. Zeke's mom was a Titan, yeah. Which also intrigued me, like how the fuck is that happening? You know? Again, more mystery. That's what it is for me.
I want answers, Ruben.
That mystery's been solved.
No, yeah, I know that mystery's been
Yeah.
solved, but I'm saying like why
Yeah.
is it so beloved? I think you add more mysteries on top of the big mystery, it just gives you like people want more and more of it up until they get the answer.
I think that's my only problem with the show is that mystery ends up becoming so complicated that you have all these multiple intertwining threads that are spread out throughout the seasons, and it's sometimes told and not shown is my only issue with the show. Which is why I didn't enjoy seasons 1 through 3 as much as I think most people, but season 4 for me has been like pulling it back together.
Oh, if we're saying our problems with SNK at the moment, I'd have to go with that. Visually, this show's amazing. Like it's been pushing animation, it's been pushing the style, all that action scenes and even emotional scenes. When it comes to them trying to figure out how they're going to get to these mysteries, almost all of them, except for thank God, the basement has been a massive letdown
No, you're
and
crazy.
poorly executed. Nah. The payoffs in these shows, the build-up is fantastic. The payoff is, other than the basement, has never been that good. The only time I really enjoyed it was everything with Astoria, but
Yeah.
I don't even remember any of season 2, other than they were stuck outside the camp, and that's it. And we meet
Yeah.
Ymir.
Yeah, Ymir's like the biggest thing in season 2.
Yeah.
And like Ymir's cool. I wish we learned more about her, but we never do
It's the curse
until
of
like
Ymir.
right now.
It's the curse
I'm
of Ymir.
upset the only like really like I wish Historia and Ymir were able to get together, but I know they had to kill off the I'm just kidding. It was very upsetting because like that entire storyline. I am upset about the fact that they don't really go into like the transition between Polko and Ymir. They just see her locked up.
Mm-hmm.
Like what happened in the end? Like we know that she wrote a letter that Reiner had to like stand over her shoulder while she was writing, which unfortunate for Historia and for Ymir, but like it's upsetting that she didn't fight. Like that was one of my biggest gripes was Ymir didn't fight more. Like I know that she was a smaller one, she didn't have as much training.
Yeah.
But like she saved Historia and she went back and like but if she had just maybe waited like 5 minutes, they would have realized that Eren had the ability to control Titan and then she could have come back with them. But she couldn't wait. She had to play the hero. Like, girl, like I understand. You want to be seen as the hero to the love of your life, but like you could
Yeah.
have just
Reel it in.
waited.
Yeah.
Why didn't you wait? Because I did get very upset about that.
It's tragic.
Yeah, it's tragic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very upsetting. But I thought this was once again, we didn't see much like Titan stuff, but I think it was needed.
Yes, absolutely.
Because 100%. And I think the callbacks to season 1 and kind of showing like where they were as children, because we didn't really get to see that. We didn't know what happened before they went to Paradise. So kind of having that like back and forth between like this is where Eren and Armin and Yuhaza were at that particular time when Reiner wasn't getting into a fight or Annie was telling Reiner to smarten up because the world is terrible. And that's on brand with Annie, but
yeah. Also, are we not going to talk about how
much
she just murdered that grasshopper? But like demolished it in the beginning of the episode? Annie is a psychopath.
She did just hurt that thing.
Yeah, she is a psychopath. Oh boy. Sorry, Ryan, I cut you off.
Oh, I just forgot how much I missed Annie as a character. I think she's just such an interesting character. Just cold.
she's currently just
Especially in Jesus to Crystal.
Crystal.
Yeah.
Is she still in the Crystal?
As far as
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that was my question too. Yeah.
She's still in Paradise, just chilling at the Crystal.
Yeah.
Because
I forgot that she's in a rock.
We'll see if she
and
gets,
I almost said
She's in quarantine.
yeah.
She knew about Corona and she was like, I'm going to get ahead of this. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So
She's like,
guys,
no, fam, I'm not dealing with.
absolutely not. What did we think of this episode, Fee?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I think it was nice to see more of like what happened to Reiner to bring him to that particular point, and why he goes like he just splits into two different people in certain times.
Yep.
And honestly, super reasonable for why he's like that. And
Oh yeah.
I completely get it. I am excited to see like a little bit more from other characters that are still alive. But I think it was a really good narrative. They did it really, really well to kind of like show it as a timeline and kind of have that flow back and forth and kind of introducing our main characters. There's so many like main and side characters at this point. It's Reiner's season at this point. But I think it was really well done. And I'm happy to see that we got to see a little bit of the Paradise fam. What up?
Yeah. Christian, what did you think?
Yeah, I agree. I liked it. I think it had a good mix of continuation from last week's episode's themes, leaking into this one with just enough teases, like especially with Aaron, that's going to keep like interest and engagement for the next episodes to come.
Yeah. Ryan, what about you? What are your thoughts?
I thought it was also fantastic, and I agree also with keeping interest and all that. But for me, the big one was seeing the Reiner and all them as kids alongside Aaron and getting those parallels of growing up and everything to them going to Paradise and really living the same situations that Aaron and them did, except for this extra burden on them of now we're also spies among us, but if we messed up at any moment, we could also just die because we could get eaten because now we're just swinging around on ropes and everything in training camp and all this.
Yeah.
Things could go wrong for us in multiple ways at any time. So they have that added fear among now you're in the military. So I thought that was very interesting. His speech to Aaron I thought was fantastic. All that. And then, of course, the reveal of Aaron. Again, his monologue, lackluster, but the reveal, fantastic.
Yeah. This episode was great to see, like Fee said, how Reiner has become the person he is now. And I like to think that the Reiner that's loyal to Marley is the Marcel, as opposed to the Reiner that's loyal to his friends that are on Paradise is just Reiner himself. I am really happy that Fee gave us all this information about like, oh, that's again, I didn't realize that it was Aaron this entire time, which is great. I'm excited now. My brain is going through the motions of what could be happening. I'm curious to see more, and I can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one gripe.
Go ahead.
But continue.
No, go ahead.
Okay. My gripe, and this is just like visually and also the way that it transitioned, was they didn't need to have his monologue and then going like bang. And then they had the like ending. I think they should have just transitioned his like actual like monologue to the closing rather than having that separation between him and because the closing went like has the exact same tone of like his actual monologue. And I think it would have been good to like have that kind of like and then start rather than being like here's a disconnect between the actual like chapter and then the actual like end song.
Yeah, I
understand it was like the opening, but
yeah,
that was my like little gripe about it.
I could see how, you know, how sometimes animes do, like, they'll have a person talking and then they'll have the yeah, I could see that. They should have done that instead. That would have made more sense.
Fantastic ending song, though. Fantastic ending.
Oh my.
This is the first time I liked the intro too. Like I really paid attention.
The intro's getting to me, but I'm still like we've had better ones.
Someone did a fantastic edit, and I'll send it in the general of like 2020 with that song over top of it and clips of it.
Oh boy,
it is mind-bogglingly good, and I'm like, kudos, like you got everything which was needed. I'm like, nice.
Okay.
It's one of my favorites.
I just came up with something while thinking about it. I want to think about the show and everything, to where earlier you said, Christian, where of him when he was wrestling with Annie, when Boruto was like, I can't do anything, all that, right? He's showing that I will be anything I can be, not really saying to the military, but he to what his friends are and everything you were talking about earlier. All that. I think it is him saying he'll be whatever he needs for his country. That I am my country, and that is my sole being. I do not have a personality. I am
Yeah.
my country.
Well,
So I think he's just so loyal.
it's unfortunate because like you kind of like when they were doing the cuts back in 2, you see the fact that like while they had like a terrible tragedy happen, at least like Armin and Aaron and the others had some sort of a childhood until that point. They've been fighting since they were born. Like
Yeah.
they were born into everyone hates you. You are literally scum and you need to work your way up. Not even like it, you don't even have like a transitional period. It's not like, oh, you get to be a cute kid. It's like you have to stay in this particular area because you are devil spawn and now you have to work your way up as a child because they weren't like adults. They were like 12 and 13 and 14-year-olds who got these particular powers and like the abilities of like the 9 Titans and then sent over to paradise. They're just like, go free children, like go do this. Like you have the entire weight of your entire like nation and your entire like group and your entire being on your shoulders. You don't have a childhood. And you kind of see that with like the connection between Armin running to Aaron with the book. Like that's their childhood. They get to go out and they get to like go into like the forest and they get to like go and get water and pails and like talk about these magical lands. And these kids are like, you don't have a childhood. And so I feel like that's the reason why Aaron's not Aaron, Annie's the way that she is, the way the Reiner is, the way that Berthold was, because Berthold was constantly sitting in the background, like I have to, like he was literally like like he wasn't talking over everybody, but he was sitting back and analyzing and seeing what others were doing and seeing like what do I need to do because everyone knows their place. What can I do to help them with what they're doing?
Yeah.
Because that was the whole point of the Colossus was because he can't move fast. He's only there to be like the stronghold, but he's trying to figure out like, okay, what can I do to help my team?
Yeah.
And unfortunately that was his downfall in the end. But
You hate to see it.
yeah, you hate to see it.
Man, there's way more to unpack in this show, like than ever before. I feel, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's 3 episodes. 3 episodes.
I know.
Like, actually, like, boom.
And we only have 13 left.
Because like
Ooh.
F the like freaking basement at this point.
I don't know
F
about that.
the basement. No. Because here's the thing: we've learned more in these 3 episodes
then
about
we have the entire
series
yeah.
than the basement.
yeah, you're right.
It's like because like the end of season 3, you're like, whoa, the basement, and then it's just like they literally knew all this shit and 10 times more from the like instead of like a little journal you found in a basement. Woo! Like we have this. We have we found a book that was in a like in a desk inside of a secret area, and it's just like, nope. We have military like written up from like day 1, who had what specific Titan, what their characteristics are, what their differences are, what their strengths are. This is like, and just
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
yeah,
We're learning
they
so
have
much
metal.
so
They
fast.
guns.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
they are way behind.
Yeah.
Didn't Kenny have guns?
Kenny
Huh?
had guns. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Kenny had like didn't instead of having swords, Kenny used guns.
I mean, nothing compared to the big old guns that are in the back of
Oh,
Peck.
absolutely
She's
not.
just like, I'm coming.
Absolutely
Like,
not.
And then
Yeah,
even the people who are, like the like the actual machine, like the sit down like shooting guns, like they're just like, this is no big deal. They have trains.
Yep.
They have steam power. Like they have steam power in Paradise, but they're like 100 years. Like obviously because their minds were all like, whoop.
Yeah.
That's a best way to put it. It's just
Goodbye.
Well, also, I
They have
think
the-
it's because that they've been by themselves. You know, like what's the need of having all that technology if we're just staying in these walls? You know, like we don't have any outsiders. We're just staying in these walls that we keep to ourselves.
they don't
Same.
even. And also, I just want to talk about the fact they don't care about the Attack Titan. They don't care about at this point now they've like the Colossal Titan they've lost, the Attack Titan they've never had apparently, and then the Founding Titan they currently don't have. So there's 3 Titans they don't have. They have another 5 Titans that are part of the military, and then the last one, the 9th one, is sitting pretty in a mansion.
Yep.
Yep. Because she doesn't want to fight.
Wait, who?
Shrug.
It's isn't that
No.
what's her name?
They were talking about a family had the 9th Titan.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, also
Because they're
isn't-
making her as the savior.
I mean, Annie's also gone. She's in a crystal.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Annie. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Annie. She's in a fucking
Mhm.
crystal. I'm sorry.
It's since season 1.
Um,
She's been in there for like 6 years now.
Because she couldn't lie. They're like, okay, obviously she can't lie anymore. They're gonna just put her in a crystal, and then that's her explanation is she's a real shitty liar, so we need a crystal. And then she's just like, I can't lie to anybody anymore. I don't want to do this. Changes into a crystal because she knew the second that she got caught, she would have spoiled like essentially spoiled everything. So that's why, because she's such a bad liar, she had to lock herself in a little crystal for 3 seasons, which is like
Now she's a coffee table.
when you boil it down to that, that's fucking hilarious.
do you think we see
not
her
a
this
good
season?
liar.
You have to.
I mean, we don't have to.
I'm gonna be honest. Nope, they just throw her. They're like, this is
Yeah,
a boulder.
exactly. Exactly.
The show ends with her still in it.
Yeah. The show ends. The show ends.
Like,
No. Yeah. Well, that's how the show ends. The show ends with, and this is my story. And it's just Annie by herself with a bunch of dead bodies all over the place. They've literally killed them all, you know?
and then you
She-
find out she's been narrating the entire thing.
Exactly. I'm actually
wakes up-
Aaron.
She wakes up in New York and Nick Fury is there.
Oh my God. How crazy would that be? Oh boy.
That would be really confusing to explain. Like, here's the deal. I'm probably gonna die. Like, I'm going to die in a few years.
Yeah.
You need to find someone who's like me. I will inject them with my blood, and then they will turn into a thing called a Titan.
Yeah.
And then they have to ingest me.
Yeah.
So make sure that I don't run. Just lock me up. Let this large creature, don't be worried, just don't have anyone else in the room, and let them consume me.
Yep.
Like, how do you explain? Like, I know crazy shit happens in the
And he's like,
MCU,
it's
but,
okay. We
like,
have a Hulk. Don't worry about
Just
it.
hear me out.
We have a Hulk. Don't worry about it.
They're like, you mean you turn like do you turn green? Do you become large? It's
Yeah.
just like,
Is it only when
no,
you're angry?
No. You have to make yourself bleed in some way. Like,
It sounds like a
Okay,
lot of
that's-
work. I don't know if we want to deal with this. We'll put you on the back burner for now. We'll deal with the other Avengers.
We don't have a right to mutants yet.
it's true.
Oh boy.
No, but I think overall this was a needed episode, and I'm hoping
Yeah.
that there's a little bit of fighting next episode.
Yeah. We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out the Titans were the friends we made along the way. And those are my closing thoughts.
Oh, Christian. That was really good. That caught me off guard. Before we close the show, do we have anything else that we want to say? No. Okay. Fee, where could people find
Right.
you?
Well, one, I just want to say that Reiner needs a hug.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about that. This entire episode is called Reiner Needs a Hug. And You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at Zoranix, Z because I'm a Canadian. Or if you're an American, it's ZURANIIX.
It's right above you.
I stream Immortals. Woo! I am streaming Immortals currently. I might be doing some live painting. I'm going to be doing a charity stream in the next 2 weeks because I need to.
Nice.
And by need to, I mean I want to. I'm backpedaling a second. I do definitely want to do this. It's for Extra Life because I'm
Yes.
the co-captain for Kind of Funny. And we were raising money. We've currently raised a ton of money. I think we're well above 100,000 for children's hospitals across North America.
Nice.
And so that's what I'm going to be doing, which is fantastic. So check me out on all my links that are named after what's above my head.
Yeah.
And I'll see you there.
Okay, cool. Christian, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Sizzle
It's on the bottom.
for any. Oh damn, Ruben.
I'll let you guys know next time. I'm sorry.
For all updates on stuff I'm doing, like my movie podcast. Check that out.
Yeah. You also had something extra that came out this week. What's that?
Oh, you mean my book?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote like a small book. It's both poetry and photography, and it's only $10. You should maybe consider getting it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'll put that link in the description below. Ryan.
Heck
Hot
yeah.
review.
Ryan, where can people find you?
I'm looking at the other thing to see. People can find me on Twitter at RyanTheLion3055
Yeah.
or whatever I'm up to these coming weeks, like being on Christian's movie podcast.
Oh.
We're talking anime.
Oh. Okay, cool.
Cool.
Yeah. What anime movie? Or is it just anime?
I'm doing great with
Yeah.
anime movies. I'm
Okay.
doing great with the Fireflies. And Ryan, what are you doing? Which one again?
I heard that's a very sad movie.
Akira.
I heard that's a
Should we
bit. Is Fee already crying or is she laughing?
Because those are like the mix between those movies. It's just too much for me to handle.
Okay, cool.
Have you seen either one of those, Ruben?
No, I haven't. I heard
should.
Grave
Then
of
you
the
don't
Fireflies.
understand why I'm laughing.
Yeah, no,
You
I
do
heard.
not understand why I'm laughing.
I heard Grave of the Fireflies is a really, really sad movie. So,
No, it's super fun, upbeat. It's everyone's happy.
why are you
nothing
lying to
happens.
me?
Oh, because I say that to everybody, and
Okay.
someone believed me once, and it did not
Oh.
go well.
You're a monster. That's why.
Just tell them it's a Studio Ghibli movie and then say nothing else.
Oh God.
That's great.
I did. I said it was just like they're like, is it like Spirited Away and like My Neighbor Totoro? And I'm like, yeah, totally. It's super happy. Woo. And then they're like, what the heck? And I'm like, I didn't say it was
Oh my
by the
God.
same director, sucker. I'm like, same umbrella, not the same person.
Oh God.
Yeah, I have Totoro on my. That's a Totoro pillow, like right there. You can't see it
Ooh.
because it's like
we
much
can't see
together.
it.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's okay.
You know what? Next time I'm just gonna bring all my Totoros like up and then just like
put it right on your mic arm. I'm just sitting there.
I will.
Okay.
One of them's like a little like money pouch. I could
All
just
right.
it'll just be sitting right here. It's
Yeah.
gonna be Totoro.
That works.
Yeah.
You could find me on Twitter and Instagram, I want to say, at Pen Conquest. I'm not really sure. This week, I am hoping to do a Seinfeld Festivus episode on Wednesday. I am currently still waiting for my Festivus poll to be coming in, and I'm going to be really upset if it doesn't get here on Wednesday. Really upset. And I might have to give the delivery guy some airing of grievances and probably some feats of strength. This weekend we are going to I promise guys, Sunday we are going to do the next episode. If it's not on Sunday, you can have all the rights to kill me. All
You
right?
know what? If it doesn't happen with you on Sunday, we're just gonna host it ourselves. It'll be called
All right.
Three Musketeers talking about anime and Attack on Titan, and then we'll just have like a picture of Ruben just
Yeah.
like sitting somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works. I like that.
I'll get a
Sounds-
framed photo of Ruben just in case.
Oh God.
Perfect.
Okay.
It's gonna be the one of you going like talking with your hands.
Oh
With that
no,
one.
not that picture.
And then
That's
you
the
have to, like,
worst.
move it. It's just like, I thought this was a great episode and Aaron's fantastic. And we're like,
Oh,
shut
God.
up.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
I like Bane from The Dark Knight.
No, Bane from the Dark Knight is the worst.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy sucks.
The Deep's a good character in The Boys.
I mean, the Deep is a good character in The Boys. Come on. Let's not get too crazy here.
Not.
He's great for comedy relief.
There's so many other okay, I'm not talking about this
Comedy
because I will
relief.
be
Yeah.
on here. For
End it before we get
yelling.
angry.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you once again, everybody, for joining me. I will see you guys on Sunday. Have a good night.